Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
More and more motorists are moving into cars with an automatic transmission. Yes, let it be inferior in reliability to the classic mechanics, but significantly surpasses it in terms of comfort. In recent years, manufacturers have made a big step forward in terms of reliability and durability of automatic transmission. They do not require such careful maintenance as in the case of the automatic transmission. But what remains unchanged is the transmission oil change procedure. There are different opinions about this. Some people trust the manufacturers completely, believing that the oil really does not need to be changed during the entire service life. In practice, however, this is not the case. Changing the lubricant is an important and sometimes obligatory procedure. In order not to spend a lot of money at the service station, many people prefer to perform the procedure themselves in garage conditions. Before you do this, you need to study all the nuances of replacing the oil in the automatic transmission, the actual methods and periodicity, whether it is necessary to change. Previously, everyone used to perform oil change in the automatic transmission of the first samples with a certain periodicity. Then manufacturers advised to do this on average every 80,000 kilometers of mileage. But now the question of periodicity and the necessity of replacement in general becomes extremely actual. How often you have to change the oil in your automatic transmission depends on a number of factors. Do not rely on information from automakers, who actively point out that the lubricant in the automatic transmission does not need to be changed. Allegedly, the box is able to live the entire operational period on one factory lubricant volume. If you look in the operating manual for such cars, you will not see any data at all about how long it takes to change the oil in your automatic transmission. This is possible only under ideal operating conditions for 4 to 5 years, but no more. This is how long cars in Europe last on average, and then they are replaced with new ones. Hence such statements about the lack of need to drain the old ATF. Remember that in our conditions, it is necessary to change the lubricating fluid. In this case, the interval of oil change in the composition of the automatic transmission is influenced by how many factors? Namely, operating conditions, age of the car, the general condition of the box, driving style, overheating of the automatic transmission, quality of lubrication. Oil is a multifunctional element of any automatic transmission. It is engaged not only in lubrication and cooling. Among the main functions are the following: temperature extraction from the rubbing surfaces, prevention of premature wear, lubrication of parts, protection against dirt particles settling on the elements of the box, function of torque transmission in the hydraulic system, gear shifting. If the car is used actively, the gearbox is constantly in operation. If the lubricant is not replaced, it will simply begin to lose its properties and qualities. It will not be able to fulfill its obligations. And therefore the condition of the automatic transmission will deteriorate sharply. This will lead to breakdowns and expensive repairs. Causes of loss of ATF properties: yes, the lubricant in the automatic transmission does not wear out as intensively as in the engine. But still the fluid is also under the influence of some factors that contribute to the loss of its properties. This mainly concerns high temperature, which is most relevant for those who spend most of their time on urban roads. In parallel, the radiator used to cool the ATF in the automatic transmission begins to gradually become dirty, partially wear out the friction, plates, and torque converter. Over time, these particles from wear and tear become more and more. From this follows a logical answer to the question of whether it is necessary to change the oil in the automatic transmission at all. Yes, it is necessary to do it. And it is necessary to determine the wear of the fluid in time, so that destructive processes have not had time to affect the main nodes and lead to serious failures of the transmission. There is an active debate as to at what mileage it is most appropriate to perform such a procedure. In practice, old oil poured into the automatic transmission can wear out faster than the recommended time, sometimes by several times. When exactly it is necessary to change the old gear oil in the automatic transmission should be determined and controlled by the car owner. Some are based on the average statistical indicators of the number of kilometers traveled. Usually such motorists change the lubricant at a mileage of 60 to 80,000 kilometers. But under such conditions, the oil in the automatic transmission is changed only when the operating conditions are normal. If the car is operated in harsh conditions, automatic transmission works under constant load, the car moves at high speeds, then the specified interval is better to reduce. Here the most important thing is to monitor the condition and behavior of the automatic transmission. There are several characteristic signs that tell the driver that the old oil does not cope with its tasks. Namely, the automatic transmission works intermittently. Gears are not shifted in time. The automatic selects the wrong gear, jerks, and jolts appear during acceleration and braking. Automatic transmission works with extraneous noises. All this clearly indicates that the box is actively wearing out. The first signs of malfunction have appeared. Continuing to ignore such symptoms, the consequences will be extremely costly. Choice of replacement interval. The question is not whether, but when to change the oil in your automatic transmission. To begin with, it is worth forgetting about the so-called maintenance-free boxes, where the car manufacturer assures you that you do not need to change the oil at all. All the facts given above prove the opposite. If the replacement period is specified in the operating manual, safely subtract about 20 to 30% from it. This will be a fairer mileage, at which the lubricant will have time to wear out and lose its original characteristics. Read also what you need to know about battery repolarization on cars. Different automakers specify different replacement intervals. At some in the manual, you can find values from 60 to 80,000 kilometers of mileage. At others, it is 100 to 130,000 kilometers. This is objectively a lot, and even under the most ideal conditions, the box on one oil will not withstand so much. The most correct solution is considered to be replacement as it wears out. To do this, the car owner will have to check the current state of the lubricant, timely changing it in case of change of color and smell. If you buy a car on the secondary market and the car has an automatic, it is better to replace it at once. And it does not matter that the previous owner replaced the grease. Very often for pre-sale preparation, the lubricant in the box is changed partially and the cheapest fluids are poured in, so as not to spend extra money. Let's assume that the car manufacturer recommends replacement after 80,000 kilometers. Under normal conditions, a more plausible figure would be 60 to 70,000 kilometers. Add to this severe conditions and get the most relevant interval of 40 to 50,000 kilometers. Severe conditions include frequent city driving in traffic jams and traffic lights, transportation of heavy cargo on the car, constant, driving with a full cabin of people, driving in bad weather conditions, very hot or cold, frequent off-roading. If at least one point is directly relevant to your situation, for safe, long, and reliable operation of the automatic transmission, it is better to change the oil in the box after 30 to 50,000 kilometers of mileage. Condition check. As stated earlier, the best solution for the car owner will be to replace the lubricant in the automatic transmission as it wears out. And for this purpose, it is necessary to monitor the condition of the fluid in the automatic transmission. Even if you are a seasoned motorist with a lot of experience, it is not possible to determine the wear of the oil solely by the behavior of the car or the gearbox. You can do it much easier by taking a sample of the fluid from the automatic transmission and checking its condition. Using a syringe or dipstick, if such is provided, take a few drops of fluid from the box, drop them on white paper or cloth. If a dark brown or black stain with visible traces of impurities is formed, it is necessary not just replacement, but a complete drain of the old lubricant. When checking ATF, follow a few simple rules of thumb. When the oil is clear and free of foreign impurities, even if the color has changed compared to new ATF, replacement is not necessary. Cloudy lubricant indicates the need for partial replacement. The presence of traces of metal shavings in combination with a burning odor indicates urgent replacement. The last case is the most undesirable. Since the automatic transmission has already begun to develop malfunctions, the parts are rubbing and can be severely worn out. Simple replacement, even by the method of complete displacement of old oil, will not solve the problem. It is desirable to disassemble the box and replace the worn components. How to change at the service station. Angliska, this is the end of the procedure. On average, it takes about 10 to 12 liters of oil for a complete oil change. It all depends on the initial volume of transmission fluid in the automatic transmission of your car. The larger the automatic transmission, the more oil will have to be used. This directly affects the final cost of the service. But at independent full replacement in garage conditions can go about 20 liters. Turning to a car service, you get several advantages. All procedures are performed by specialists. You do not need to climb anywhere. With your own hands, not knowing the device of the automatic machine, you can control the process, which will exclude any deception. Old grease is displaced completely. Complete renewal of ATF significantly improves the operation of the box and extends its service life. Fuel consumption drops. Many service stations give a guarantee for the work performed. But do not hurry to put your car in the hands of specialists who will change the oil under pressure by the displacement method. Not all automatic boxes are adapted for such procedures. A striking example is the automatics that are installed on Honda cars. They have non-removable filters and trays. If oil is pressurized, the filter will clog. This will lead to highly undesirable and costly repair and remedial work. Self-performed partial change. Most car owners give preference to a partial oil change in their automatic transmission performed by themselves. There is nothing complicated about this procedure, and even a novice can quickly learn how to perform it. You need to choose a level area for the car over a pit or overpass. Ideally, a hoist is used, but few people have one in their garage. If the box has a drain plug, you are lucky because you will not have to spend time and effort on additional dismantling work. Here it is necessary to unscrew with a suitable wrench the bolt fixing the pallet of the box. Remove the filter inside it. If the filter is clean or in case of its replacement, it is necessary to unscrew the drain plug and let the oil drain by gravity. Preliminary should warm up the box so that the oil flows out faster. But be careful not to get grease on your skin or mucous membranes. If there is no drain hole, then take a syringe and a long, thin hollow tube. Medical drip hoses are great. Using the control hole on the automatic transmission, gradually pump out the old oil. The option is more complicated and requires more time. Under the drain hole, be sure to put an empty container of suitable volume. It is better to take a clean container to be able to visually assess the current state of the old transmission fluid. It is necessary to wear rubber gloves when draining. Remove the cap on the filler neck. In its absence, also use the control hole where the dipstick is located. Insert a thin funnel or syringe into the hole. Gradually pour in fresh grease. Once all the required volume has been filled, close the cap and start the engine. Wait until the engine has warmed up to operating temperature. Now move the automatic transmission selector to different positions. On each of them, you need to hold for 5 to 10 seconds. This will allow the oil to penetrate all the gaps in the box. Turn off the engine and put the box in the parking mode. Use the dipstick to check how much fluid is inside the automatic transmission. If not enough, top up the missing amount. Repeat the procedure with starting the engine and shifting the automatic selector. Read also, why can jam the gearbox and how to get out of the situation. Now you know exactly how you can change the oil in your automatic transmission without going to a car service and without spending a lot of money on their services. Partial replacement has a significant advantage in the form of its simplicity, the ability to perform it yourself, as well as the absence of large financial costs. But it is important to realize that such replacement allows you to drain and replace no more than 40 to 50% of the lubricant. If you do it with the specified frequency, without waiting for ATF wear, you will be able to maintain the box in excellent technical condition. After completing the procedure of partial replacement, be sure to watch how the machine reacts to the arrival of new grease. If everything works well, it's a green light to perform similar operations again. Independent full replacement. The option with a complete change of oil in the automatic transmission is more preferable, since this gives the opportunity to fully renew the ATF and normalize the operation of the transmission. In garage conditions, an analog of professional hardware oil change in the automatic transmission is possible. It is only necessary to adhere to some rules, follow the oil change schedule, and select ATF for your automatic transmission in accordance with the requirements of automakers. If you notice that the automatic transmission is unstable, there are jerks and other signs of lubricant wear, you should change the ATF in the near future. But not everyone knows how to properly change the oil in the automatic transmission by the method of full replacement, considering it exclusively the prerogative of specialized car services. There are several steps and actions that allow you to get rid of the old ATF lubricant as much as possible without outside help, and pour instead of it a new fluid for the automatic transmission. Install the car on an overpass or pit in your garage. Unscrew the box pan with a wrench, remove it, clean it, change the filter. Now put everything back in its place. It's better to buy a new filter to replace the old one once it's replaced. For now, you can use the cleaned old filter element. Depending on the specific design of the automatic transmission, you need to disconnect the oil drain lines from it or from the radiator. In conclusion, changing the oil in your automatic transmission is a manageable task that can save you both time and money. By following the steps outlined in this video, you can ensure your vehicle runs smoothly and efficiently. Remember to gather all necessary tools and materials before starting, and always consult your vehicle's manual for specific instructions. Regular maintenance is key to prolonging the life of your transmission, so don't hesitate to take on this project. Thank you for watching, and happy DIYing.